What's up, guys? Happy New Year. Welcome to Bum Talk episode 34. Happy New Year. Back after a about 2 month hiatus. I'm your charismatic host, Jay Bums, along with
Danny Bums.
that's right, for a little late night, Monday night edition of Bum Talk, but we're back for now. Big weekend for combat sports. We had some pro wrestling last night, big boxing fight Saturday night, and also some MMA. So we'll dump right into it. Saturday night, UFC at Raleigh, North Carolina. Um, Pretty good card. We had a good main event and a big two top five heavyweights fighting in the heavyweight division. So Danny Buns, I'll pass you the ball. Let's talk about UFC Raw League this weekend with the co-main event. Let's start with that one.
Wasn't Frankie supposed to be in this fight?
He got hurt.
No, he got knocked out by Korean Zombie.
Okay, he took that fight. Yeah, he took that fight. So Brian Taylor got hurt. Then Frankie took it, and then he got knocked out. But he was supposed to fight. All right, yeah.
And at 35.
Bantamweight.
It was really good co-main event. I think Brett Okamoto had tweeted that this feels like it's a main event somewhere else.
I thought so too.
And I agreed. The co-main event was way more interesting than the main event.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. It was hard to judge the co-main event. I guess I had Chiesa winning, because RDA striking was too much for him, so he just went to the ground.
Yep.
But yeah, now he's a ranked opponent. He beat a top 5 guy, so we'll see what happens next. I would love to see. Well, that's not gonna happen because Kevin Lee's back at 55. And he's fighting. I don't know who that guy is.
Fighting soon, yeah.
He's now fighting Islam, which is the fight we all wanted to see for Brooklyn. So I don't know. I don't think Colby's gonna fight him. I don't think Colby's gonna fight in the UFC anytime soon.
Yeah. And if he is gonna fight, his next fight, which way he probably wants, it's obviously a rematch. If that's, but I don't think he has that hand in his those cards in his hand. But you're right about chasing Maverick. Like you said, he's 3-0 welterweight, top 5 opponent. I think that easily puts him in the top 10. It was a close fight. I think Maverick did edge him a little bit.
Yeah.
He was good on the ground, like that striking. Obviously, he's a tall welterweight. He had like a 5 reach advantage and about like 4 inches in height. So that all plays to Maverick's favors. But he looked good out there. And then he said it. And the narrative before this fight was that this is Chase's natural weight. Obviously, he's tall. For him to cut weight at 55 is obviously hard, but congrats to him. And like you said, Okamoto said, like, this could have been a main event and other fight night.
Yeah.
But I like Chiesa. He's a good fighter. He's not one of my favorite fighters, but I think proves that he can hang in with the big dogs. So if you were to play matchmaker, if obviously Colby out of the picture, who will be a game opponent for Chiesa?
Santiago Posbenizio.
And he's out of the rankings, right? He told me that recently because he's been inactive.
That guy's.
He hasn't fought since I think
November
November 18th.
The guy's pulling a Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Gets one big win and he thinks. Yeah.
If I remember, it was November 2018, I think.
But then technically, with this win, he'd be way more ranked above.
Yeah, you're right. Because
Posbenizio.
RD was number 5, right?
Yeah, so he's not. He's only fighting people above him.
Which are a handful.
Yeah.
And then we got that Tyrone Leon Edwards in April, I believe.
That's such a good fight. I have no idea.
I think it's a fight night. It's not a pay-per-view.
No, that's not a pay-per-view.
No, but yeah. So we got that fight, like you mentioned. So yeah, I mean, like you said, obviously Kamaru's the champion. Colby's probably not fighting anytime soon. So welterweight division, I guess we have a new contender in the welterweight division.
Yeah, well, it's looking like it's gonna be Masvidal versus Usman for the title. Because that's something that Dana really wants. But I feel like Conor takes precedence. Like, if he wants to fight,
especially after that fight 2 weeks ago.
He wants to fight what's his face, Masvidal. I don't think the UFC would say no.
No, you're absolutely correct. Like I said, Conor has the bigger hand. He has the bigger heart hand here. But you know, it'd be cool, and the UFC doesn't really do this a lot. And I guess this is maybe every fan's dream, right? Kind of do like a mini tournament. And Dana White doesn't believe in tournaments. That's not his thing. He said it multiple times. If we could do like a Fatal 4 tournament in the sense that Gamebird fights Masvidal, Gamebird fights Usman, and Nate fights Conor. That'd be like my dream, like like a little bracket.
No, because where does Leon Edwards fit in that picture? And he's very deserving of the title.
Obviously.
Or the winner of that is very deserving of the title.
That is true. Because Tyrone hasn't fought since he got knocked out. Because he was supposed to fight Robbie Lawler last summer, but then he got hurt, his hand I think or something like that. So he's been inactive for about more or less a year. But yeah, we'll see what happens. This makes it when you have upsets, it always changes kind of the title picture or the next contender in line. So I mean, we'll see what happens. But I think he proved that I can hang in with the top 10 guys, and we'll see. We'll see who he fights. Obviously, he said he called out Kobe, but that may not happen anytime soon, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other more thoughts?
I don't know where RDA goes from here.
It's tough. Because he beat Robbie Lawler already, so we don't want to see.
I feel like had he won, the ideal match would have been Conor because they have unfinished business.
From 4 years ago.
And he's still if he would have won, but
maybe he could fight the loser of Leon Edwards and Tyrone, depending on that outcome.
I think if Tyrone loses, they'll offer the fight to RDA.
I think it's a good fight. Two veterans.
But whether Tyrone will take it,
that's another story.
Yeah, but I feel like if he wins, I feel like he can definitely he can get a title, he can come back. If you beat Leon Edwards, he's technically, it's gonna be crazy.
You're absolutely correct about that.
This is the other poster for UFC Raleigh this past weekend.
Yeah.
You see the co-main event, these guys are in here.
And then atop the big dogs.
Yeah. Chiesa. No. Okay. That guy, he won.
That guy. 170, the Maverick. 3-0 at welterweight. But so before we go to the main event, you brought up a good point, and it's true. So RDA was riding hot, right? He beat Kevin Lee last May, and then he took a Leon fight. I don't know if it was short notice or injury.
Yeah, like in July or August, which was a terrible idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know if it was an injury related thing or just last.
I think it was just too sudden, but I really don't feel like that would have made a difference. Leon Edwards is a monster. That guy's ready to go.
And you still got that little beef with Leon and Masvidal from last
March.
Oh,
that's just great, man.
The 3-piece meal. I was a year ago when Masvidal went to the O2, I believe, and knocked out Liverpool's own.
Interesting to see what happens. I feel like the guy who even at both at lightweight and welterweight, I feel like whatever Conor decides to do next, it's gonna
dictate
make sense out of everything.
Yeah,
I think that everyone's just waiting to see what he says.
You're absolutely correct.
Which I imagine, since he got right, but then again, I don't know.
Just gotta wait and see. But like I said, right now, obviously Conor has the upper hand.
What we do know is that Usman doesn't have a fight lined up. Masvidal doesn't have a fight lined up, and that's probably the fight he's gonna make. Diaz doesn't have a fight lined up,
and who knows?
The biggest person he wants has a fight lineup, which is Khabib.
Yeah.
So, again, it's all about Conor now.
It is.
The ball's in his court.
And like we spoke about last week, like if we talk time frame, the earliest this could happen is June, July, like you mentioned last week. Obviously, April. So up until April we're set. May UFC usually goes to Brazil for the most part for the past couple of maybe 5-6 years. So the earliest any fight could happen in this sense is June or July. Obviously, July is their big, the big weekend with the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. So you're probably looking at something in July, if that.
I'm imagining Conor comes back in July.
Because he did mention.
I'm convinced he comes back in July.
Because he did mention he wants to fight three times a year in that interview.
Because they're looking. I think they're looking to make DC and Stipe for June.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
I don't hear about Stipe's manager. He came out with a statement this week. I think on Monday or Sunday or weekend. He's like, after the eye surgery he had, there's still no time frame of when he's coming
I'm
back.
sure it'll be June.
So,
Um,
if the money's right, probably yeah.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure in May it's gonna be Cejudo
Brazil
versus Aldo because they need a belt.
Yeah.
And they don't have.
And like we mentioned, UFC for the past 6-7 years they've been going to Brazil for May strictly.
And then and then July is T-Mobile, and that's typically where Conor fights.
Yeah.
And I imagine he win, which I imagine will be against a much more credible opponent.
Mm-hmm.
That's just gonna line him up very well to go into Madison Square Garden, a headline against X.
Absolutely correct, and it's the right time frame. Either that, obviously the Garden, or
to the Garden.
maybe December in Vegas, depending on the schedule. But yeah, it lines up, I guess, perfectly. Because he had mentioned in an interview with Ariel, he's looking to fight maybe 3 times a year. So, yeah. So we'll see. So the welterweight division, big.
And speaking of Stipe and DCE and the welterweight division, we also had the main event, which was
top 5 heavyweights.
Main event, which is Curtis Blades. What's his name? Curtis Blades.
Curtis Razor Blades
versus
Junior Dos Santos.
Junior Dos Santos,
former heavyweight champion.
Yep.
That's 10 months. Put together a promotional picture there. That was the main event tonight, Saturday night for two top 5 heavyweights.
Yeah.
JDS was 3-1 with that one loss coming to Stipe 3 years ago, and Curtis Blades is right. It was also pretty hot. This matchup, well, like most heavy matchups, they always end early in most cases. I think it went to the second round, I believe.
Yeah, it was boring.
It was boring. Yeah.
I expected the younger guy.
I thought the opposite. I thought Junior would have won had it been a shorter fight. I thought Curtis would have won if the fight went distance.
Yeah, because of the wrestling and stuff.
Yeah, and then if you saw, JDS miss a nice uppercut, and obviously I let them expose, and I got him right in the glass jaw, and you saw him like already,
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't falling, but he was already out of it, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, and
I think Curtis was 5 and JDS 3. I forget the actual rankings.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like Ngannou's in line to be the number 1 contender.
He is, because he's fighting an undefeated guy.
Right.
I think
should he win that fight? And I'm pretty sure he knocked out, or someone knocked out Curtis Blades, right? Was it Ngannou?
Yeah, he had 2 losses. I
think it was Ngannou. So yeah, I think Ngannou's in line to fight the winner of DC wins. He's not fighting, but at least he's getting a title shot in 2020. That's without doubt.
No, there's no doubt about that.
And that's all I can say for that. Nothing else. No other comments to say about that fight or that division.
Performance on Curtis Blades.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So so he got knocked out by Ngannou 2 years ago. That's 1 loss. I don't know about the other loss, but yeah, we'll see. Like I said, the match is Stipe versus Cormier whenever that happens. Hopefully in the summer. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, besides, UFC was quiet this week. It was an early card, 8 o'clock. But we are going to jump from the Octagon. We're going to go up to Brooklyn to the Square Circle, where DSG has come back from a 9-month layout after beating Adrian Granados, right? I believe in April.
Last April.
In about 9 months. And he fought. I forget what country he's from. Ivan Redkach.
Ukrainian.
Okay. Ivan Redkach.
Redkach.
I believe the story.
What?
I believe the storyline and narrative before this was he was lined up to fight either
Errol Spence for this date and for Fox pay-per-view.
Yes.
And then unfortunately what happened to Errol
back in October.
And that was the best thing that happened to Steven Espinoza, because then they were able to get the fight on. They get Danny on Showtime as opposed to Fox, because Showtime is losing everyone to Fox.
Yeah.
Or Al's wants to put everyone on Fox, which is the smartest thing to do.
Yes.
Who wants to fight for Showtime? Yeah, so he needed he couldn't just wait for Errol. He kind of needed to get into it, and obviously he fought a very game opponent, someone was high ranking. He was actually lined up to fight Adrian Broner earlier, sometime last year. I haven't read catch, but Adrian is apparently retired.
And he broke apparently too.
Yeah, because he knocked out that one guy, Devin Alexander, and then Adrian wanted to fight him after that, and then that never happened.
Things didn't fall through.
Right. So then this guy fought him, and I saw some of the highlights. I didn't see the fight. That whole actually the co-main event was former Unified Champion Jarrett Hurd coming off from his layoff. Another almost another 9 month. His first fight since losing his titles to J-Rock, who was believed to be the number 154 pounder in the world, and then last week he lost it to some Dominican named Jason. So I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe it's a rematch.
I do know that I saw some of the Jarrett Hurd fight and it was freaking boring. It's probably one reason why I fell asleep. And yeah, it was all even the highlights from this fight. Like Danny didn't even knock him out. But granted, he was a really good opponent and he was also southpaw, which is good because maybe Danny might fight Terrence Crawford next. Who knows?
Possibility depending.
So and Terrence Crawford's he's a southpaw. So either way, I'm a big Danny Garcia fan. So I'm glad he won. And hopefully he fights Errol or Manny next. I know Manny has one more fight with his contract with PBC. I imagine he will resign because he loves the pay-per-view. Well, A, he likes the pay-per-view style, and B, PBC has all the names.
Yeah, he's still
unless he wants to. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, I have no idea. Who's the number. I guess the Charlo kid, since he got his title back in December, I guess he's the number 154 because it's supposed to be J-Rock because he had two of the belts. But then and then Jaime Muniga, he vacated his belt because he fights at 160, and then some top rank guy got the WBO. I have no idea what his name is. Forgot. But yeah, it looks like I guess Charlo's the number one super welterweight in the world, which makes sense. He's really good.
Maybe he can unify, depending.
Yeah, against the Jason kid.
Yeah.
But then they need to build that kid up before. They probably make him do like a title defense or two.
Okay, like a mandatory.
Yeah, that was freaking crazy. So I have no idea what's gonna happen. Or I imagine Jarrett Hurd's gonna fight that Jason kid, and then he'll get his title back. But then again, there's also J-Rock. Then there's also Charlo. So I have no idea what PBC is gonna do there.
We're gonna see. It's gonna be an interesting year for the super
same as this whole aerospace thing threw things off. So I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still recovering. I think he mentioned in an interview his time frame. Obviously, things can change. He mentioned early spring, April, May, but things can obviously change. Opponents can change. Injuries can happen. Yeah,
but that was right here in the Barclays.
You know, this is a good fight for DSG. You know, after that tough loss to Keith Thurman 3 years ago. Can't believe it's 3 years ago already.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone fast. He took a time off. Then he fought Brandon Rios, right?
Bam, bam. I saw that fight.
He fought Brandon Rios. Then he fought Adrian Granados. Now he fought this. So he has these out.
No. After Bam Bam, he fought Sean Porter.
Oh, that's right. Fought Sean Porter. That's right. I forgot he lost September 2018. Yes, you're right. I forgot about that one. He's had good fights. Granted, he has 2 losses, but these are not cherry pick fights. They're all good. They're all game opponents. So like you mentioned, he's still a contender even if he has 2 losses. The important thing is that he's kept himself active. And like you mentioned, you know, we gotta see what happens with Errol Spence in the spring, or we'll see who Danny Garcia decides to fight next. Maybe T-Bar, like you mentioned, is in the works, but we'll see. But you know, like I said, I'm glad DSG got the win. He's a popular fighter. Obviously, he's of Hispanic descent, so everyone likes him. He is. I remember like when I first got to boxing, Danny Garcia was one of the first names I heard.
Same.
And then I think he was the first time I heard him. Is a co-main event of. He was a co-main event of
Canelo and
Mayweather. Yeah, that's the first time I heard him. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's been 2013. Has it been 7 years ago?
It's gonna be
7 years. But yeah, congrats DSG, Team DSG, Angel Garcia, his twin sisters who are hot. Congrats regardless. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And then we go back to the Octagon for Saturday nights. Cris Cyborg's Bellator debut.
against the current featherweight ex-current champion
Julia
Jessica
Budd.
Yeah.
And she had a chance to make history when she's won titles in every promotion.
Major Grand Slam. That's what it's called. Because she's the Invicta champion. She was a Strikeforce champion, UFC champion during her reign. And then first Bellator fight, title shot, and she knocked her out in the fourth round.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great. I have no idea how the fight turned out.
I
She
knocked her out
beat
in
her?
the Coleman event. I just
She
saw
knocked her out.
highlights.
How'd her win? How'd she win?
Knocked out fourth round.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was going distance, obviously, but then she knocked her out in the fourth round. For those who know, Bud is like Cyborg and Ronda Rousey. She's been around since Strikeforce. She lost to Amanda Nunes and Ronda Rousey too. Jessica Budd. So she's been around too. But yeah, Cyborg is a Grand Slam champion. The only woman that can say that. But like there's always been controversy with Cyborg. Allegations of steroids and all that stuff, past history. So I think a lot of people tend to not pay attention to that. They pay attention more to her accolades.
Yeah.
She's done for the sport, and obviously she draws.
Yeah.
Even during UFC reign, she was champion. The way that the UFC split with her happened.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. There's politics everywhere. It is what it is. But congrats. I mean, we'll see what happens. But Bellator's women's division is not as big as the UFC, to say the least. I mean, they have Cyborg now, so it's a little more legitimized, I think. But their women's division isn't as concrete and solid as the UFC. But we'll see what happens. Maybe she was a PFL. She'll try for a fifth champion. But yeah, congrats to Cyborg. It was actually a downer of a card because Dylan Dan's supposed to be in a card. He got hurt.
Yeah, it would have been great to see him.
One of the Gracie's, Royce Gracie's son was supposed to be in a card too. He got hurt, I think. But yeah, it was alright. Sergio Pettis made his debut. He won.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Looking like he's gonna fight for the title.
I think he made the right move going to Bellator.
Yeah.
If he would have stayed UFC, he would have been murdered probably. So we'll see. But congrats to Sergio Pettis on his first win. I know Kakura said it in his post fight interview that he might be a contender for the bantamweight title. So we'll see about that. And then Cyborg, well, I mean, we'll see. She's Cyborg.
We'll see.
She'll go to PFL maybe.
Yeah.
Fight Carla Harrison, the 155 champion.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll see.
So then, last but not least, we end it with one of the big four pay-per-views of WWE.
My personal favorite out of all the big four.
Yeah, Royal Rumble's always fun. It kicks off WrestleMania season officially, which is supposed to be the best season of wrestling,
of course,
for WWE. And
So I'll be honest. I only wanted to watch both Royal Rumble matches. I didn't really care about the matches between. But like you mentioned today, like Bray Wyatt, The Fiend versus Dan Barrow was a really good match.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Strapped together. I thought it was strapped behind their back, but they were strapped together. Well, let's not talk about that. The pictures, the things about the Royal Rumble, the men and the women, nights change. This changes everyone's night. Let's talk about the women's first. Charlotte Flair. I mean, she's obviously the GOAT. She's a GOAT to the daughter, Ric Flair.
The three winners have been Asuka, Becky, and now Charlotte. Right?
That's correct.
That's cool.
Asuka was the first one back in 2018, and then obviously the man.
And who up the titles for the girls?
So SmackDown is Bayley, who she defended and won, and then Raw is obviously the man, Becky Lynch.
Oh, you know what they're gonna do there.
Well, that's what I want to see, because obviously, so when you win, you choose what brand you want. Charlotte is currently on SmackDown.
She's gonna choose Becky.
I think exactly. I don't see
it's the only thing that sells.
Yeah, you don't want to fight Bayley at WrestleMania.
That's so funny.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't
Sure.
want to see Bayley at WrestleMania.
I'm sure a lot of girls, up and coming girls, would love to. But
Of course,
okay,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely correct.
Okay, yeah, I guess that'll work.
Yeah,
somewhat.
It makes sense because they both came up together.
Right.
That whole storyline. So I guess it's kind of like a full circle kind of thing. Actually, it's payback. Do you remember 2018 SummerSlam? It was supposed to be Carmella versus Becky Lynch, but then Charlotte got into the match.
Possibly.
And then Charlotte won, and then Becky beat her up. That's where her turn. That's where she became the man, kind of.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it started. So I can see that whole full circle storyline being finished there. But yeah, I mean, congrats. I mean, the rumor, like always in wrestling, was that Shayna Baszler was supposed to win. Shayna Baszler was supposed to win, but I think she had like 7 eliminations before she got knocked out. I think by Charlotte Flair. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good match. To me, the MVP was Bianca Belair. The girl with the blonde.
Yeah, she was great. Raw Rumbles are always fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Great to see.
Multiple stars you don't see a lot.
Yeah, and also it was good.
Legends too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that means Charlotte Flair. I mean, like you said, Becky Lynch, Raw.
Yeah.
Makes sense. She'll probably win WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But let's switch from the women's to the main event, the men.
Oh, this was a lot of fun, man.
And then for the first time ever, the current WWE champion Brock Lesnar put himself in the Rumble as the number 1 contender.
That was
as
great.
the number 1 fighter.
That was great.
So he started there, and let me tell you, this Rumble was day and night because the first 13 eliminations was just like every 2 seconds you're out.
Brock
you're out,
just
you're out,
pounding these people.
You saw Brock against John Morrison. He went out fast. Robert Roode. Keith Lee came out. You know, he kind of broke character a little. I was, you know, because he said, who the F is this guy?
Yeah,
who's
that was funny.
That mother flower? You saw that. Then Ricochet came out. Obviously, what happened last Monday when he kicked him.
Yeah, that made sense. That was great.
So yeah, so it was laughable at first. I'm like, it got boring. Come on, man. Shelton Benjamin, he betrayed his partner. So you saw that. But yeah, and then obviously Drew McIntyre came in, and he knocked him out. He eliminated him, to the help of obviously Ricochet. Ricochet gave him a nice low blow, and then Drew McIntyre kicked them, and he fell, and he sold it, like you said. He sold that really well. Brock Lesnar, waiting outside.
Yeah, absolutely,
He
absolutely.
looked at him. He walked away.
Absolutely.
He looked at him again before he left.
And they just, I had a feeling there, like just the way they both delivered very well in that. So I had a feeling this could build into something really good. And then when towards the end, as I was dwindling down, I'm like, Drew McIntyre's gonna win this, and this is gonna be a good build up to WrestleMania.
Absolutely correct. And then like the last 5 or 6 were obviously the contenders: Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, obviously, and then obviously the big surprise, Edge.
Oh, that was great.
That was ridiculous.
Great.
Right? Everyone was like, what? Edge came back, the radar superstar, and then we learned today that he's supposed to fight Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So again, another.
And he wasn't like as great as MVP was to see him, and I love him, but he wasn't like this like.
He was there tonight too. He fought tonight.
Yeah, he was actually in it, like, and it was just a great ending. It was such a good Rumble.
It was a different Rumble.
And I'm really happy for Drew McIntyre, man. Over the moon.
Yeah, he's been ever since he got to NXT.
He's put in so much. I remember when he was announced that he was signed.
Yeah.
He's put in so much work,
He
man.
has. He left. He went.
Been a great heel.
Went to Evolve. Came back to NXT.
NXT champion.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Yeah, he came back. You know, this is his time. You know, he's obviously the face now. I haven't watched Raw in the past few weeks, but my friend was telling me that the past few weeks he's been turning face slowly. So I guess that makes sense. Face versus heel.
All right. Okay. Same thing with like Samoa Joe and stuff.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Me personally, I mean, it's way too early. WrestleMania is about 3 months away, but my money's on Drew McIntyre to win and beat Brock Lesnar.
Right.
But I wonder if Brock can't say this, because I've heard Brock before. He always says who he wants to fight. Like when he fought AJ Styles, when he wrestled AJ Styles, when he wrestled Seth Rollins, and Bryan, he picks his opponents. So I wonder if he had any input in this one here.
Well, I'm sure maybe.
Yeah, some kind
maybe he didn't want to wrestle the typical Seths or Romans again.
Yeah, because he's done that.
A million
Bryan
times.
A couple years ago, AJ Styles. I know it's one of your favorite matches of all time.
Yeah.
With AJ Styles. So yeah, he's fought the same guys in the past. It's crazy. I thought about it last night. So Brock Lesnar, maybe wrestles 3 times a year. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. He wrestled.
And he really worked his ass off last night, earned that money.
He wrestles 3 times a year and shows up to like I don't know how many Raws, but he's the first pro.
He already showed up to Raw tonight and he beat up Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I saw that fight.
Yeah, fired him.
That's the thing. He goes to Raw. He doesn't even talk. He's just standing there with the belt. F5. Beat you up. Man. Whatever
He's got it good. He's got it good.
He's got it good. Yeah, he has got it good. Like I said, he wrestles 2 to 4 times a year. We'll leave it at that window.
Yeah.
Because he probably does like a Saudi show, I think.
Yep.
And maybe a SummerSlam or I don't know. But kudos. I think Brock has a real opponent. Like you said, it's different. It's some Seth Rollins, some Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton. We don't want to see that.
Brock is for the kids, God.
Am I sure that video? He's at a college wrestling event over the weekend, a couple weeks ago, and these kids are jumping.
Bunch of kids like watch WWE. Went crazy.
Like, do you know who this guy is? You know who this guy is?
It's so out of character.
That was way out of character. But yeah, like you said, he worked. You can see he was tired. He was sweaty. He was red. So
yeah.
I mean, some of these hits are real. Obviously, it's wrestling. But nonetheless, congrats to Drew McIntyre. All the best. This is gonna be his moment, WrestleMania. And then slowly, like you mentioned, WrestleMania soon. We'll get more matches. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's successful. Like you said, I love that MVP was there. Obviously, Edge came out. That was a big turner for everybody. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Any other last minute things you want to say, Danny Bums?
No, it was a good weekend.
It definitely was.
What do we have coming up?
2 weeks we have obviously UFC 247. I'm off the numbers, right?
Yeah, about 47.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Crazy. Like that fast.
Anything this weekend? No.
We have that.
No UFC this week, right?
No, because you're gonna be off for that. Yeah.
Oh,
it's funny.
Super Bowl, right? There's nothing
this
weekend.
Used to do this. I don't know why.
But this Thursday, there's the Zone. Bubu Andrade.
That's crazy.
And Tevin Farmer versus Joey Diaz.
Gotta watch that.
And then another bunch of YouTubers again.
We're YouTubers.
Oh, it's gonna be great. And it's just great seeing that on Thursday, man.
It's there.
God, it's gonna be great.
Think about it, because there's no more football. You're done with that football slot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. NBA is coming down to the final 2 months, so it's game changer.
Thank you, Eddie. Fair play, Eddie. Fair play.
2 weeks we have UFC 247. WWE. I think end of the month they have the chamber match. Trying to think. UFC. Any other big boxing fight besides obviously Boo Boo fighting Thursday?
Top of my head, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I know February 22nd we have Wilder versus Fury.
Oh,
no, facts.
They just
the press guy.
It's so funny. Eddie Hearn said it right. They initially, when they announced their news like almost a month ago, initially said they're doing no press conferences and they were just gonna both appear on like each of the semifinals for the college football, because that's gonna have a lot of eyes.
Of course, that makes sense too.
And they noticed that they're not selling any tickets, so they did one press conference, which was like 2 weeks ago. And they noticed they're still not selling tickets, so they just did another one.
Why do you,
so they went from saying we're not doing press conferences, we're gonna use the college football stuff
platform, yeah, which
to
makes
make
sense, right?
2 press conferences. Okay.
So let me ask you, what do you
This
think?
is not going to do a million buys.
Yeah,
no.
Definitely not. So let me ask you, what do you think attributes to this fact that they have low selling tickets? What do you, like, just off your head, like?
I have no idea.
It's a big.
I thought it's I think it's a big. I'm sure it's going to do good numbers. I don't think it's going to do a million buys. I can probably do a million buys, but 2 billion. Bob Arum said 2 million buys. That guy's stupid.
Or do you think maybe some fans are woke enough, like, hey, you know what? I don't want a controversial ending.
Maybe, but that fight did a lot for both of them. So it's gonna be a good event. It's gonna have good numbers.
And
we'll see.
And like you mentioned, in 2 weeks, it's gonna be simulcast on 2 broadcasts, ESPN and Fox Review.
Well,
but
no.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like
call a fight.
But you can order it on Fox.
But it's simulcast on 2 different.
But yeah,
platforms.
I think it's gonna be simulcast because you're seeing that in the press conference. You see Katie Abdo with Max Kellerman. You see Mark Kriegel with Sean Porter.
So it's
Mark Kriegel left Showtime for ESPN. I'd do the same.
What you call in politics, it's a share service agreement. Basically what it is.
And Bob Arum said it the best. He was like, it's not like when we were on Showtime and HBO, those guys hated each other. This is Fox and ESPN. They always have to work for each other.
Yeah.
They're used to working each other because of these big like NBA and NFLs.
Of course.
They're used to it.
It's absolutely it's different level, and and that's gonna be what you think, $70.
75 at least.
Actually, you're right. If it was 70 the first time, right?
Something like that.
The rematch need more than, especially if tickets are gonna be a little low. They'll probably throw $80. But hey, UFC is cheaper. $20 cheaper. Doesn't matter who's fighting. $60 to $60.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Then, boys.
That's pretty much it. See how the year turned out.
Yeah, so far good. You know, Conor returning, big rematch next month.
Elevates the sport.
Yeah.
Big rematch next month. What are you doing now?
Fury and Wilder.
Right.
So for like the first few, then we have Habib and Ferguson.
It's
Potentially,
all the way to like.
potentially. Yeah, a lot of good matches. We'll see after Brock Lesnar. Maybe Kane comes back soon. Maybe Kane comes back for WrestleMania.
I was thinking Cain Velasquez would come in here.
But apparently he had surgery after that Saudi show.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know the history of Cain Velasquez, injuries and knee problems and all that stuff. So I'm sure WWE, if they want this to go long term, they want to invest in him. They want to make sure, you know, they want to monitor him. Make sure, okay, if we want to use you for X amount of years, we got to monitor you. Make sure that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And all right,
guys. We gotta look at the schedule, see when we'll do an episode. Hopefully, maybe 2 weeks. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Go Chiefs! Get the Chiefs!
I would like for them to win. I don't think they won though.
All right, guys. Make sure to subscribe at Bum Talk. Twitter too at Bum Talk _.
Rest in peace,
Good night,
Kobe.
guys. Take care.